Okay, so excuse my shirtless, somewhat disheveled look for this video. Um, Yesterday, while I was watching news reports of this ridiculous Orlando shooting, it occurred to me a few points throughout the day, a thought. And the thought was, man, it doesn't seem feasible that one guy could shoot and kill 50 people and injure 50 more. The thought just occurred to me, and I literally said to myself, I wonder if there was more than one shooter. What if there were other people involved? This is not some conspiracy bullshit. Trust me, I can't stand the fucking everything is crisis actors, conspiracy idiots on fucking YouTube who think the local robbery, fucking grocery store robbery was fucking, the Illuminati. It's just a thought that occurred to me, and I'm trying to be as rational as possible. Is it possible for one guy to murder 50 people like that? A lot of questions. I'm not saying that there was more than one shooter, but what I've been really hoping for was a more descriptive analysis of what happened in the nightclub that night, and CNN, well, they're about to fucking describe it based on official information. If you want to get super skeptical, can you trust the official information? I don't know. But let's at least see if things are consistent. So let's take a look. By the way, a little shout out to Mike Cernovich on Twitter, and basically, anybody else who thought of this idea and started to share their thoughts on it.
I think a lot of us are confused about exactly what happens. First of all, how did the killer get into the club?
We know that there are 8 different possible entrances here. We know that his car was parked somewhere over here. You mentioned those fences. There's a fence that runs all the way around here, the main entrance over here. So did he go around and come in? We don't have that clear yet. But we know that once he went inside the club, that we believe the situation quickly started developing in the main room. This club is essentially 3 different areas: dance floor and bar over here, dance floor, main stage in here, and then a patio bar over here. The shooting seems to have started in this area, and then, according to authorities, at some point, he tried to come back outside, and there was a gun battle that broke out between an officer who was on the scene, who was working security there, and 2 others who showed up, and he went back into the club. And then all indications are that he basically got pushed by the pressure of the officers up this way. So by 2:17 or so, we know that people were already pushed up into this area with him, and we know that he seems to have hunkered down somewhere in one of these bathrooms up in this area, and this little dressing room here. A lot of people had fled trying to get out these ways, but we know somewhere up in here seems to be where he was. It looks like it was probably this bathroom, because we know then, after that long standoff, those phone calls you talked about, maybe even some communication with officers inside the building at that time, according to police, they finally hit this outside wall here. When we talk about them attacking from the outside, there were 2 explosives set off, and then they hit that outside wall. That's what this is, where they hit the wall with this Bearcat device, which is a large armored personnel carrier, smashing holes in the wall. And that's why it looks like it was the center bathroom. And if you look over here, you can see all the bullet holes in this wall, particularly around this big hole, suggesting this is where he tried to come out of the.
Now, some people, Mike Cernovich included, on Twitter have speculated that maybe the reason there were so many people killed was because maybe the SWAT team accidentally killed a bunch of people. And you see all those bullet holes. I mean, are all those bullet holes by the terrorist dude himself? Or are those bullet holes, some of them by SWAT teams shooting into the building? Did they accidentally kill some of the hostages? And that might lead to the high body count. Again, I'm not saying there were multiple shooters. I'm just asking a few questions. Let's keep watching.
Wall and was finally shot down by the police 3 hours into it. So it gives you a little lay of the land, Jake, and you can tell with all the noise inside there, the darkness and everything else, wow, it was such a chaotic atmosphere and so hard for people to find the exits and get out in that chaos.
All right, Tom Foreman, thanks.
So, yeah. It just seems like a lot of people to die by one dude. Now, my speculation is, or my justification or rationalization for why it might have been only one shooter is if it ultimately became a hostage situation. And according to mainstream and official reports, that's what happened. It ultimately turned into a hostage situation. The guy was holding many hostages. During the Paris terror attack a few months ago, it also evolved into a hostage situation, and they were killing hostages one by one. And when you have one person standing there execution style, it really only takes one bullet to the head, generally speaking, to kill him. And so you don't need a lot of bullets and accuracy in that situation to kill somebody. So it's possible that during this 2+ hour hostage situation, where there were just a bunch of people in there waiting around with the gunman, that maybe he was just popping people one at a time. And if that's the case, then one shooter killing dozens of people is much more feasible, in my opinion. Now, at the same time, I begin to wonder at what point, when you see dozens of people being killed and you're in a hostage situation, do you just say, well, if I don't fight, I'm going to die? And was there ever a struggle to fight against this guy, or did the hostages just wait there until the SWAT broke through? Many questions. I figured I would just play this because I hadn't seen it yet, so I would play it. And maybe I would learn a little something better about the timeline, because every timeline I've read about the situation so far is super vague, and there seems to be a bunch of holes and inconsistencies in it. Anyways, this is a quick video.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.